What's up, Bears fans? Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got a lot to cover, so make sure you stay tuned until the end because there's a ton of exciting stuff coming your way. Before we dive into the latest updates and all the speculation following the draft, we have to take a moment to celebrate a huge milestone. We just passed 122,000 subscribers over the weekend. That's right. A big welcome to everyone who recently joined us, especially those who found the channel through our Bears Draft Grades video. If you're new here, don't forget to turn on notifications. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Let's keep the momentum going and aim for 123,000 next. Seriously, your support means everything. All right, now let's get into what really matters. There's a lot of buzz going around that the next move for the Chicago Bears could be adding a running back who's still floating around the market. After the NFL draft wrapped up, there's been non-stop chatter about his future. One well-respected analyst even said that if he had to put money on it, he would bet this running back ends up with the Bears by September. Then a well-known radio host dropped a hint, saying their team was getting ready to say goodbye, suggesting that this player might be close to locking in a deal with another team. And yeah, it's a team from the NFC North. Technically, there are 4 teams, but let's be real. Based on the draft choices and how conversations have been going, it's not too hard to figure out who they meant. Now, yes, the Bears did draft a running back, but it was a late 7th round pick. That doesn't exactly scream franchise cornerstone, right? Which leaves plenty of room for a veteran to come in. Honestly, it feels like something is brewing. I would not be surprised at all if this player gets invited in for a workout soon. The big question is, what does he still have left in the tank? Recently, he's been grinding through intense training sessions. It's important to remember, though, that he didn't have a healthy preseason last year and is still coming back from a brutal knee injury. Not just a torn ACL, but also damage to his MCL and a torn meniscus. That's a serious trifecta. Maybe, just maybe, he's close to playing like the guy he was before all that happened. Because before the injury, let's be honest, he was one of the top running backs in the league. Even during the 2022 season, when he was dealing with the aftermath of the injury, he still put up some impressive numbers. Sure, he wasn't quite as explosive, looked a bit slower at times, but toward the end of the season, you could see flashes of that old dominance coming back. And that's what makes this situation so intriguing. No one is expecting him to return to his absolute peak. That would be asking a lot after everything he's been through. But if he can even be 75 to 80% of the player he once was, that's a massive win for any team. Especially for the Bears, who want to create a deep, dynamic backfield and emphasize the running game heavily this year. Adding a proven vet to the rotation will be huge, especially if he's willing to come in and complement the other guys, instead of demanding to be the #1 option. Physically, it seems like he's trending in the right direction. His medical evaluations are underway, and from everything we're hearing, the progress is promising. He might not be breaking off 80-yard runs anytime soon, but he's a tough, physical runner who finishes plays and can also be a real asset. Catching passes out of the backfield. If the Bears can get that version of him, the one who can churn out 4.2 to 4.4 yards per carry behind a much improved offensive line, that would be a steal. Let's be real. Younger players still need time to develop. They have flashes, sure, but the consistency is not there yet. A guy like this, even at 75%, could still outproduce a lot of them, at least in the short term. What do you all think? Should the Bears roll the dice and bring him in? Let's talk about it down in the comments. Would love to hear your takes. Now, speaking of that offensive line, there's a lot to unpack after the draft. After picking up a versatile tackle who has experience playing both the right and left sides, and even sometime a guard during the pre-draft process, the conversation has been heating up about what this means for the starting lineup. Most scouts project him more strongly as a right tackle, but with all the shuffling and with one key player out recovering from injury, there's at least some openness to maybe trying him on the left side. Post-free agency, the Bears made a clear effort to reinforce the trenches. They were intentional about focusing on linemen during the draft, and the pick they made is someone many believe can step in right away, particularly at right tackle. That said, there's always the flexibility factor to consider. The team insists he can play both sides if needed, and in the offseason program, it would make a lot of sense to test that versatility out in real drills. However, it's tricky. Off-season workouts are heavily restricted. There's not much real contact, so while you can move guys around and see how they adjust mentally, you don't truly know how they'll hold up physically until you get to training camp. That's where the coaching staff's experience becomes crucial, evaluating not just footwork and technique, but also how a player reacts under pressure and against live competition. Personally, I think this young tackle has all the tools to become one of the best right tackles in the league. Moving him over to left tackle is tempting because of the injury situation and roster needs, but there's always a risk when you take a player who's excelling at one spot and ask him to switch sides. It's not as simple as flipping a mirror. The footwork, hand placement, vision, everything changes. And even small differences can have a huge impact at the NFL level. Right now, if I had to guess, I'd say the Bears starting line is going to feature Braxton Jones at left tackle and Darnell Wright staying put at right tackle. That feels like the safest, smartest move unless the coaches really see something special in camp that changes the equation. It's all about minimizing risk while maximizing the talent you already have. The bigger gamble would be moving Wright to the left side. And while he has been improving every single season, that's still a huge transition to ask of him. Let's not forget that the NFL has changed a lot. These days, elite right tackles get paid just as much as left tackles. Guys like Penei Sewell have shown that dominance at right tackle is just as valuable. If the Bears decide to roll with Braxton at left and right at right, that's a line that could seriously dominate. But if they decide to shake things up, it has to be because they're absolutely confident that the move won't cause a major drop-off in performance. A 5 to 10% dip might be acceptable if it means getting your 5 best guys on the field, but anything bigger than that, it could hurt way more than it helps. One thing's for sure, this coaching staff has some tough decisions ahead, and I'm pumped to see how the offensive line rotations shake out over the coming months. There's going to be a lot to keep an eye on during OTAs and training camp. Who do you think will lock down those 2 starting tackle spots? Drop your predictions in the comments. I want to hear what you're thinking. Switching gears a little bit, there's another storyline that popped up earlier today, and it's definitely worth diving into because it might have flown a bit under the radar. If you were paying close attention over the past few weeks, you probably caught some hints, but now we've got a little more clarity. It turns out that other teams around the league were seriously trying to move up in the draft to snag a certain player. And yeah, the Bears might have gotten in the way of those plans. According to a source, teams like the Texans and Broncos were really active, making calls and trying to trade up before the Bears made their pick. It makes sense when you think about it. Heading into the draft, there were rumors floating around that multiple franchises were aggressively working the phones, trying to climb the board. At the time, it wasn't clear exactly which prospect they were targeting, but as soon as the Bears made their move, the calls and the buzz basically stopped. That tells you everything you need to know. It was all about one guy. And the best part, the Bears got him. Looking back, it's easy to understand why there was so much interest. This draft class didn't exactly have a deep pool of elite receivers. And this player stood out as someone with rare athleticism and huge upside. He's young, dynamic, and he produced at a high level despite some serious quarterback struggles during his college career. When he had competent quarterback play, his numbers were off the charts. We're talking big-time production on a national championship team. So yeah, it's no surprise that other teams were trying to leapfrog and grab him. The Bears didn't blink. They stuck to their board, trusted their evaluations, and made a move that could pay off in a big way. This guy isn't just a piece for the future. He's someone who could contribute right away. You don't draft a player that high without expecting him to make an immediate impact. The Bears clearly have a vision for how to use him, and you better believe that the coaching staff is already sketching out plays to maximize his skills. And it's not just about the first round pick. In the second round, the Bears made another move that got a lot of people talking. They picked a player who at first had a lukewarm reception. The early draft grades weren't glowing. A lot of analysts threw around B- ratings. But as people took a deeper look at the tape and got more context about the Bears' strategy, the perception started to shift. Now, that pick is being talked about as a solid B or even better. The more you study this second round pick, the more you see the potential. He's only 21 years old. He's raw, but the athletic tools are there. And that's exactly the kind of player you want to bet on. Youth, upside, room to grow. All the ingredients for a future star if he's developed the right way. The Bears are banking on their coaching staff to mold him into something special. Thinking ahead to the 2025 season, it's going to be really interesting to see which of these young players ends up producing the most. If I had to guess right now, I'd say the first-round receiver is going to have more raw stats, more catches, more yards, more touchdowns, just because of the opportunities he's going to get early on. The Bears' offense is clearly evolving, and they're going to need playmakers to step up right away. But that second-round pick, don't sleep on him. His role might grow slower, but he has the potential to be a major contributor down the line. And sometimes, those slower burn prospects turn out to be absolute studs once they put everything together. It's all about patience and development. Not every player is ready to be a star right away, but when they hit big. So now the big question is how the Bears' offensive staff will scheme things up to get the most out of all this young talent. You've got a revamped offensive line, new weapons at wide receiver, and some serious competition brewing at running back. It's going to be a fascinating puzzle to watch unfold. Every piece matters. Every rep in practice, every snap in the preseason. There's a real opportunity here for the Bears to take a big step forward. But it's all going to depend on how quickly these young players can get up to speed and how well the coaching staff can put them in positions to succeed. That's the beauty of this time of year. Everything is possible. Hope is high. Optimism is in the air. And the hard work that happens now is what's going to set the tone for the entire season. And listen, one thing that's becoming crystal clear is that the Bears are not just building for right now. They're setting themselves up for sustainable success. You can see it in how they're drafting. You can see it in the types of players they're targeting. Young, athletic, versatile, hungry. They're building a core that can grow together, mature together, and hopefully bring some serious wins back to Chicago. That's why these next few months are so critical. It's not just about who's starting week one. It's about who's improving every week, who's stacking good days on top of each other, who's seizing the opportunity. This roster feels more competitive than it's been in a long time. There's real depth. There's real energy, and the guys who earn their spots are going to be the ones who really deserve it, not just placeholders. That's how winning cultures are built, not by handing things out, but by making people earn it every single day. And speaking of competitions, keep an eye on the tackle situation we talked about earlier, because it's far from settled. The training camp battles are going to be fierce. You've got talented rookies pushing veterans. You've got young players trying to take that next step. And you got a coaching staff that's not afraid to shake things up if it means getting the best five on the field. Nobody's spot is safe. And honestly, that's exactly how it should be. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The city of Chicago erupted into celebration as Tyreek Hill, one of the NFL's most electrifying talents, officially arrived to join the Chicago Bears. After days of speculation, anticipation gave way to pure joy as fans welcomed the star wide receiver with open arms. Hill's arrival marks a significant turning point for a Bears franchise hungry for success and desperate to ignite an offense that has long been searching for a true game changer. As Hill stepped off the plane, he was greeted by a roaring crowd, adorned in navy and orange, chanting his name with uncontainable excitement. The Bears organization rolled out the red carpet, organizing a grand welcoming ceremony that included a full marching band, a sea of flags, and appearances from team legends who made it clear that Hill's presence symbolizes a new era in Chicago football. General Manager Ryan Poles and head coach Matt Eberflus were all smiles, proudly presenting Hill with his new jersey bearing the iconic number 10. The atmosphere was electric, fueled by the belief that Hill's speed, skill, and championship pedigree could finally elevate the Bears into serious contention. Speaking to the gathered media, Hill expressed his enthusiasm and determination to make an immediate impact. "I'm here to win. Chicago deserves a winner, and I'm ready to give everything I have to this city and this team," Hill declared, his words met with thunderous applause. His arrival sends a clear message across the NFL. The Bears are no longer content to be on the outside looking in. They are building something special, and Hill is at the heart of it. Fans flooded social media with celebrations, hailing the move as one of the most important in recent franchise history. From the Windy City's downtown to the suburbs, Tyreek Hill's arrival has sparked a fresh wave of hope and ambition. The expectations are sky high, but with Hill's proven ability to change games in a single play, Chicago dares to dream bigger than ever before. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.